Welcome, everyone, to the next episode of Meet the Members of the Baltimore-Annapolis Professionals LinkedIn Group. Today we have Ann with us. We're excited. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Okay, we're glad to have you. We're really enjoying these episodes, and I hope people are taking advantage to get to know each other. And as you know, the way we start all these videos are with our guest, which by the way is you. All right, having a chance to give their elevator pitch. And we do that for two reasons. One is because it's the quickest way for us to get to know you and what you do. But the second thing is that an elevator pitch is one of those critical things that all of us need, and few of us have actually gotten down the way we really want them. So it's a chance for us to learn from each other, listening to other people's elevator pitch and say, hey, I ought to do that too, or I shouldn't do that. All right? So the pressure is on. Are you ready to give your elevator pitch?
I'm hoping, yes.
All right. You're on.
All right. Well, my name is Ann Whiteford. I'm the CEO of Status Spark. I've been in the training, change management, and leadership role for about 25 years. Our company specializes in helping people bring leadership, alignment, vision, and results. And working with their organization through training initiatives, as well as organizational change and technology change management.
Okay. Now, so you said one thing there that really scared me. Okay, I'm going to be...
Tell me what that is.
Technology change. I'm one of these people that every time anything changes on technology, it's about a month for me to figure it out. That's about 40, 45 hours a week studying it to figure out the change. But it's something we all have to get used to. Now, you talk about change management, okay? Now, change just kind of happens. It kind of sounds like time management to me, okay? We talk about managing time, but I find I don't manage time. Time manages me, all right? What do you mean by change management? How do you do that?
So that's a great question. Most of the time when people put technology in now, it's a software as a service, which means probably when I was a lot younger, we used to put on-premise technology, and it would take years to make any changes. Now in the agile world that we live, changes are constant. So the only constant in technology is change.
Right.
And so we go in and help drive people to make sure the technology is working for them and that they understand the benefits and that they actually use it and adopt it so they continue to grow that technology for the business as well as for the people using it.
Okay.
So we specialize in Salesforce and Workday, change management, and helping to get people to adopt it and want to use it, not have to use it.
Okay. That is really kind of interesting. One of the things that I've discussed with a lot of people is a premise of stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 businesses. All right, and in this particular case, the definition of a stage 1 business is somebody who's started a business and they do everything in the business. Okay, now they might hire people, but the people they hire are really assistants to them. They're still doing everything. Like they might hire a marketing person, but they're directing the marketing, and that person's simply helping execute their plans, their stuff. Okay, so that's a stage 1 business, and you may have heard this concept before. I'm just doing it for listeners can hear it. Stage 2 business is where the owner is beginning to bring in professionals to manage areas of their business. So as an example, they bring in a marketing person, and the marketing person's actually making the marketing decisions. They're not just executing what the owner has told them to execute. And that is a process of switching from an owner-driven business to a professionally ran business. And then stage 3 is once when all those functions are being done. And just numbers-wise, usually a stage 1 business is doing 0 to 1 million. A stage 2 business is normally doing $1 million to $50 million. And people are surprised it's that long. But when you figure all the areas of a business, it takes quite a while before all of them are delegated to a professional in that area. And then a stage 3 business is after. What I have found, and you'll see where I'm going with this, what I have found is the biggest challenge to people going from stage 1 to stage 2, which is the biggest jump. That's just a huge, that's why so many businesses get up to 800,000, 5 to 7 employees and can't go beyond, is because they don't set up systems and they don't have tools that allow them to leverage their growth. Would you agree with that?
I completely agree with that, yes.
Okay. So how? Okay, we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of members of our group that are in that position. How do they do that? In no pressure, no big challenge here. Just do it in 30 or 40 seconds. We'd be pleased. That was a joke. But if you could kind of give us a concept of how does someone do that? Because that's what you help people with, isn't it?
It is. And I think the biggest challenge that most people face that really don't identify is to have a vision and a goal for what you're doing. Because to bring people on, especially in that stage 1 organization, to have a ship sailing without a chart to where you're going makes it very difficult. So that leadership alignment, that visioning, and that setting your goals for really what type of company you want to be is extremely important to the continued success of your organization.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say, and I'm repeating it back because I quite often don't hear it correctly, is that the leader has to, in this case, let's assume the leader is the owner of the company, which is not always the case, but for this discussion, let's assume that. The leader has to actually think 5, 7, 10 years out, and they have to start acting upon that. Is that correct?
Right. Your vision is your long-term goal. Your mission would be your short-term, and really set steps to get to where you're going, because you can't leapfrog over everything to get to where you want. So you've got to have a vision to lead your people one step at a time.
Okay, so let's just pick Salesforce, which is one of the things you talked about. So the logical conclusion that I'm coming to is that when I start up a business, it's just me, say, okay, which thankfully is not my position right now, but it was, okay?
Right.
I could do everything in my head, okay?
Yes.
And I could do everything in my head because there wasn't that much happening, right? And I always kind of thought, well, I'll start using something like Salesforce when I need to.
Right.
But then when I hire people, there's no system for them to start using. There's no corporate memory. There's no corporate culture to use that tool. So what I'm hearing you saying is that really ideally, and we rarely live in an ideal world, but ideally, when I'm a single person, I should actually be putting those systems in place for when I bring people in. The systems are already in place. There's already a corporate culture and an expectation that that's happening. Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. Without those systems in place, you can't grow at the speed that businesses are growing today. So to create an environment where you can capture the data and that you are capturing the knowledge share of everybody that's working for you is the only way that you can retain that information and continue to grow.
Interesting. Okay. So this is really a case where we need to do it before we need it, not after we need it. That if we're doing it after we need it, I mean, obviously it's still possible, but now we're talking about a massive effort, and it's going to slow down, at least for a period of time, it's going to slow down our effectiveness as an organization.
Well, it not only slows down your effort as an organization, but it's a leakage of revenue. Because every time you're spending time going back and being reactive versus proactive, you're losing money, and you're losing customers, and you're losing focus.
Okay, and I'm going to say the biggest challenge of stage 1 businesses is that. Now, sometimes they're so dedicated that they're not losing customers, but they're not losing customers by working 120 hours a week, if that makes sense. That if they're not losing, that's it. And so even if they're not losing customers, they're losing that leakage because they're having to go back and like the client calls and said, hey, this didn't get done. And you, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And all of a sudden you're rearranging your whole day to go and do that item. Where if they've been
lack of focus eventually does lead to a loss of customers, right? Whether it's a new customer that you can get or a retained customer.
Right.
So absolutely.
Okay. So I guess the next question is, how how big a commitment is this for a business owner? Is it realistic for them to do it?
So it is realistic, and you don't have to start with the best technologies that's out there, right? So you don't have to start with Salesforce. There's a lot of lower-end customer relationship management technology and a lot of technology that you can use just from Microsoft or others that are out there and leverage. There's free learning management systems out there. There's all good kinds of technology that you can leverage and grow into the more expensive ones.
Okay. Now, do you help people with that also, or do you really stay focused on the upper end?
No, we stay focused on all of that, including helping choose the right technology to use at the right time.
Okay. So you stay focused on helping the business owner move forward, not on what technology they're using. You focus, once you're working with them move forward, then you help them figure out what technology, but you don't pick and choose your clients based on what technology they can use today. It's where they're going. It's their vision that you get hired into. Is that?
That's correct. We're technology agnostic. So really we try to do the best that we can for helping those, making that vision and then making the right choices for those visions.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you. I've really enjoyed this. This is a major problem for all, well, it's a major problem for all businesses, but particularly those, I'll call them midterm stage one. In other words, they're past the startup, but they're not to stage two yet. This, I think, is the single biggest problem that they're facing, personally.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, another thing we ask all of our guests is there any particular advice that they've been given while building their business, or a book that they've read that has been of particular value? Because our whole LinkedIn group is made up of people trying to move forward, and hearing what helped other people is very helpful. So anything come to mind for you?
So yeah, so I'm a huge John Maxwell fan. He's got a lot of great books, but my favorite one is Becoming a Person of Influence, because as a leader, we have to know how to influence people, when to keep pushing and when to back off, and really how to get to that next level of leadership.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. All right. And with that, we conclude another episode of Meet the Members of the Baltimore-Annapolis Professionals LinkedIn Group. And thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Art, for having me.
Great. Bye.
Bye-bye.